Today's video is an update on Social Security. This is such an important issue because it affects 70 million Americans. This includes retirees, disabled, survivors, and more. I need to update you on these items. The Social Security Expansion Act. This is the additional $200 a month. The cost of living adjustment for 2023. Social Security going insolvent in 12 years. And what the politicians are attempting to change in order to save the Social Security program from bankruptcy. Let's get started with the Social Security Expansion Act. This is the bill for the additional $200 a month that President Biden promised. And please bear in mind that this is totally separate from the annual cost of living adjustments. The politicians said that they would make progress on this bill after Ukraine funding. After multiple rounds of Ukraine funding, the White House said that they would get to work on this after student loan cancellation. After student loan cancellation, Congress ran out of time and they left. They left to go campaign for the midterm elections. And basically, they got too busy. Congress is now coming back into session, and we'll see if they make good on their promise of advancing this bill. If the politicians cannot pass this bill by January, then the new politicians will come into power, and then who knows what is going to happen at that time. Now, let me tell you about the future of Social Security and the incoming changes. And we'll start off in the not so distant future. So let's talk about next year, the cost of living adjustments. And then we'll look farther out, 12 years, when Social Security becomes insolvent, and what the politicians are doing to prevent this from happening. So next year, 2023, let's talk about the cost of living adjustments. Social Security beneficiaries will receive an 8.7% increase in their monthly payments. So that is big because between 2010 to 2020, the average annual increase has been 1.7%. An 8.7% increase is the biggest increase since 1981. So we're talking about more than 40 years ago. It's a bigger increase for next year because, as you know, inflation is so high. So it's not like the government is doing us any favors. The average Social Security payment is currently $1,681 a month. After the COLA adjustments, it will increase by $146 to $1,827 a month. And I want you to understand this because this is so important. The annual cost of living adjustments is calculated by using the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. This is known as the CPI-W. This is now known by economists and the government to be a bad way to calculate the annual cost of living increase. The government and economists noticed that using this calculation does not represent the spending patterns of Social Security recipients. Basically, studies show that the government has been shortchanging Social Security recipients for the past few decades. This is why the politicians, both Republicans and Democrats, want to change the methodology to CPI-E instead of CPI-W. So it's sad. It's disturbing as well that the government got this so wrong because the cost of living adjustments are crucial. You have to get that right because people are relying on proper calculations to be fair and appropriate. According to AARP, Social Security income provides nearly all income for 1 out of 4 seniors, and the majority of retirement income for more than 50% of seniors. Ultimately, the purchasing power of Social Security recipients has been decreasing each year. Are the politicians offering to make recipients whole for this mistake that has been accruing for the past 4 decades? So the answer is no, of course not. But they're trying to fix it going forward. They're working on it. Now, I want to show you this. If you're a Social Security recipient, your purchasing power has been going down. This means that your standard of living has been declining each year. And over the course of many years, it adds up. This is what I want to show you. This is the Elder Index, which is calculated by the University of Massachusetts, Boston. This is the bare bones budget necessary to pay for essential expenses. So you can look at the bottom row to see how much money you need each year based on your living situation to cover these expenses. Housing, food, transportation, healthcare, miscellaneous. And again, This is not to live luxuriously, not even comfortably. We're talking about just surviving. And these are figures for 2021. 54% of older women living alone do not receive sufficient Social Security benefits to pay for essential expenses. That's nearly 5 million older women. For single men, it's 45%. That's nearly 10 million older adults that are economically insecure. So listen, we have a system that is not working. And you know what? It's about to get worse because it's about to collapse in 12 years. So the politicians, they need to wake up and they need to get serious about this. Social Security will be insolvent in 12 years. And that's not me fear-mongering. So this is coming straight from the Social Security Administration and the politicians, both the Republicans and the Democrats. I'll show you. This is the Social Security Administration's website. This is a government website, ssa.gov. It reads, currently, the Social Security Board of Trustees projects program costs to rise by 2035 so that taxes will be enough to pay for only 75% of scheduled benefits. Now the politicians, Republicans and Democrats, they're saying, let's get together after the midterm elections and let's figure this out. Let's find a way to rescue the Social Security system. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin said, and I quote, if we don't look at the trust funds that are going bankrupt, whether they be Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, highways, all the ones, there are tremendous problems right now. If we can't come to grips of how we face the financial challenge that this country has, then we're all going to be paying a price that we cannot afford. I want to tell you what the Republicans are proposing. They want to raise the full retirement age from 67 to 69. So 67 is the age where you receive full retirement benefits. They want to pay out less benefits to people who make more money. They're talking about new rules where there is a means-based testing. So for example, you would receive no Social Security benefits if your income or assets are above a certain level. And another one is eliminating the annual cost of living adjustments if you make more than $85,000 a year or $170,000 combined if you're married. Now, I want to give you my opinion on this, and that's my disclaimer. This is just my opinion. If you raise the full retirement age, then that's the same thing as a benefit cut. Like, is it not? Like, let's just call it what it is. Now they're saying that if you make over a certain amount of money, or if you have over a certain amount of assets, then you will receive zero Social Security benefits. Like, seriously? I'm confused because I thought that Social Security was, I make money, they take Social Security taxes out of my paycheck, and they're supposed to give it back to me when I reach my retirement age. So they want to change it where they take Social Security taxes out of your paycheck and they never give it back to you and you get nothing in return. So isn't that theft? Isn't that socialism? Like, why are the Republicans supporting theft and socialism? I don't understand. So this is what they're saying. This is what they're proposing. I'm dumbfounded because is everybody okay with this? Or maybe it's just me. And I know what people are going to say. They're going to say, Brian, that's not how it works. The government doesn't take your Social Security taxes from you today and return it to you in the future. So I know that. I completely understand that Social Security, the whole system, it's basically a Ponzi scheme. They take Social Security taxes from me today to pay the Social Security benefits to the current beneficiaries. But it all collapses when the population stops growing. And that's what's happening. So when I retire, I'm probably going to get screwed over along with the other millennials and Gen Z. I know that. But hey, somebody has to lose in a Ponzi scheme, right? And that's how the Republicans want to clean this up. Now, the Democrats are not being that much more helpful either. Their solution is to raise Social Security taxes, and I want to explain this to you. After you make a certain amount of money in a given year, you no longer get charged Social Security taxes. So it's going to be $160,200 in 2023. So Social Security taxes are a lot. It's 6.2%. If you make $50,000, you're paying $3,100 in Social Security taxes alone every year. If you make $100,000, you're paying $6,200 in Social Security taxes. We're not even talking about federal income taxes, state taxes, Medicare taxes, etc. Okay, so why is there a cap? Why are you no longer charged Social Security taxes on income that you make over $160,200? That's because there's a maximum amount of Social Security benefits that you can receive. If you're limited to how much you can receive, then there should be a limit on how much you should pay. So if you make a lot of money and you pay the maximum amount of Social Security taxes each year, then when you retire, then you're going to receive the maximum amount of Social Security benefits. So that's how it works. If you pay very little Social Security taxes during your working life, then you're going to receive smaller Social Security payments when you retire. So the Democrats are saying, let's get rid of the cap. Let's make the billionaires and the ultra wealthy pay their fair share. So that doesn't even make any sense. You want billionaires to pay for everyone else. How is that paying their fair share? Isn't that called paying for everyone else? So I'm not defending billionaires. I'm defending common sense and logic. But more importantly, let me tell you the problem with this. Let me tell you the reality. If you made all income subject to Social Security taxes, you are not going to get the rich to pay more Social Security taxes. The rich use S corporations to legally avoid Social Security and Medicare taxes. So if you're a Democrat and you're like, that's unfair, that's unpatriotic, and those rich people are jerks, well, that's not nice of you to talk about President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden like that, because they use S corporations to not pay Social Security and Medicare taxes. I have proof. So take a look for yourself. This is straight from the White House website. They thought that nobody would call them out on this. They were wrong. And you know what's really funny? They're using two S corporations. I guess one wasn't enough. Giacopa Corp and Celtic Capri Corporation. So again, the rich will not end up paying more Social Security taxes. This is just one of many loopholes around it. I can make a video on how to do that, or you can just ask President Biden. So getting rid of the cap would not solve the problem. Just ask President Biden. Ultimately, Social Security is going insolvent in 12 years. The Republicans want to solve the problem by reducing benefits. The Democrats are not really coming up with solutions at all, but the Democrats and Republicans, they want to get together to try to figure this out. Senator Manchin said, let's talk it out. Republican Congressman Hearn said, and I quote, "I gladly welcome any Democrat who puts aside partisan fear-mongering to work with us to ensure Medicare and Social Security return to solvency." Congressman Lloyd Schmucker said, "I look forward to working with my colleagues to save both programs." So I'll keep you updated on what happens after the midterm elections. I'm just going to give you an honest assessment of what's going on. I have a very low tolerance for nonsense. For me, nonsense is nonsense. Whether it's coming from a Republican or a Democrat, life's too short and I'm just calling it like it is, whether it's good or bad or in between. Please subscribe. I thank you for the support and wish you a very nice day. Please take care.